If you're looking to buy a stacked NBA 2K account with max badges and more, visit sportstmb.com. He has been in the community for years and has hundreds of reviews. Click the first link in the description to get your account today.
James Harden has got to be by far the most polarizing player in the league this year and probably the past few years. Once again, he is putting up absurd scoring averages, averaging 39 points per game through 27 games this year. And of course, he put up 36 points per game last year. These numbers, of course, are ridiculous. If the season ended today, with Harden averaging 39 a game, he would have averaged the most points in a game since Wilt Chamberlain in 1963. And it would have been the third highest scoring average of all time, just behind 45 a game from Wilt and of course 50 a game from Wilt. And his season prior to this was the most points per game in a season since Rick Barry in 1967. So James Harden would be the highest scoring player in a season since what was the equivalent of the NBA's Bronze Age, meaning he would be the highest scorer of the modern era. However, as many nice things as I just said, there are many people, including myself, who have a problem with the way that James Harden plays basketball. Many, again including myself, feel that these stats are frankly inflated and that this play style is the reason that he has not and probably will never win a championship. I am personally of the opinion that James Harden's play style is not conducive to winning, and it's why he has not won a championship yet. But the thing is, James Harden is playing in his 11th season now, and yet this incredible scoring average thing is pretty new. He's only averaged 30 plus in the last 3 years, and the way that he currently plays is not the way that he's always played. James Harden used to have a versatile and less predictable offensive game. He would shoot mid-range shots and he would play off ball. But ever since the Rockets made a head coaching change, Harden has played this brand of basketball that is predictable and frankly annoying. That head coach, of course, is Mike D'Antoni. He was hired as the head coach of the Rockets in 2016, and ever since, Harden's play style has been very different. And I wanted to make a video on how Mike D'Antoni changed his game, but more importantly, who James Harden was pre-Mike D'Antoni, and why I actually think he was a better offensive player than he is now.
Absolutely incredibly with the acrobatic alley-oop.
Let's take this all the way back to Harden's first year in Houston. After being viewed as the NBA's next great sixth man, he was traded to Houston where in a star role, he played amazing. He bumped up his numbers to around 26 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists, and that's pretty much what he did up until 2016. He consistently put up 26 to 29 points and 6 to 7 assists, and he was a superstar, and you really didn't see people complain too much about said game. He had always had the drawing fouls thing. However, the numbers may not indicate it. I can only speak from what I saw with my own eyes, but Harden's foul drawing thing wasn't as blatant as it seems to be now. I find that particular aspect of Harden's game to be what is really annoying to me, and it's obviously what's annoying to most people. And I actually want to kind of explain why that is really annoying to me and other people, because I feel like Harden fans don't really understand that. I have no denial about drawing fouls being a skill. If it wasn't a skill, Harden wouldn't be towards the top of the league, if not at the top of the league every single year in free throws attempted. And of course, by no means is drawing fouls a new thing. It has always existed. It just feels more blatant now. It used to be that there would be possessions where your offense wasn't going anywhere, your defender is cutting you off at every turn, no one is open, and there are 5 seconds on the clock. At that point, you would try and draw a foul. But with Harden and other players like Chris Paul, who screwed the Bulls with his rip-through move shit that he does in a game like 3 days ago, Paul George and Kevin Love pretty consistently lean into their defenders off of jump shots, which I have always found more annoying than James Harden's throw head back maneuver. But the problem I have with this is it feels like fouls have gone from an option in a desperate situation to a foundation of an offense. Like getting to the free throw line is a foundation of Harden's offensive game, arguably the biggest foundation. That's the difference. The skill of drawing fouls should not be seen on the same level of importance as the skill of finishing through contact or hitting a jump shot. I understand the value of that ability, I understand that it is a skill, but it is visually horrible. The skill of drawing fouls should work how it did for Zach LaVine a few days ago in a game versus the Washington Wizards. In a desperate situation, he drew a foul on Davis Bertans for 3, and then he managed to draw a foul on Isaac Bonga with 0.5 on the clock off of an inbound alley-oop play, which ended up getting the game in overtime where the Bulls won. The Bulls winning, a rare occurrence, I know. But the newer thing that James Harden has done that is really annoying is he's been incorporating this drawing fouls thing into his jump shots. See, it used to be a meme that, like, on the fast break, James Harden would do a Euro step and then throw his head back like he was punched in the face. Now he does that shit on step back three-pointers. You see the guy fall down on half of the shots that he takes from 3, and it's very annoying because he knows exactly what he's doing, you know what he's doing, the player guarding him knows, everyone in the fucking arena knows. And this is not something that he's doing late in the shot clock where I would find it a lot more acceptable. He's consistently walking out the court and then pulling up for a heavily contested shot, fully anticipating getting a foul call. And this is annoying to watch not only when he's fouled, but when he isn't. There was a game versus the Spurs a few days ago where in the last 3 minutes for the Rockets, Harden walked up the court and he did a step back 3 with the defender all over him. He was not fouled, but he flailed around and fell on the floor and no whistle was called. The shot was a horrible look, so of course it clanked off of the rim, and then he came up court and did the same thing with no foul. The shot was a horrible look, so of course it clanked off of the rim, and then he came up the court and did the same exact thing with the same result. And I have to ask you Rockets fans, is this not annoying to you? The over-reliance of drawing fouls and seeing it not work, is that not just painful to watch? I know when players on the Bulls do this sometimes, it really kills me because it just feels like a wasted possession. When it's not working, it is not only just ugly to watch, but it's bad basketball. If we go back and look at James Harden pre-Mike D'Antoni, he also had a very versatile offensive game, which is another complaint that I have about James Harden. He was much more versatile because he utilized 2 skill sets that I view as very underrated, one more than the other, and I actually recently made a video on both of these concepts, and that is off-ball movement and mid-range shooting. In both of those videos, I actually used James Harden as an example for why those skills were important and why not having them was hurting him. The thing is though that James Harden has both of those skills. He's demonstrated it in the past, but the changes that Mike D'Antoni made to his game changed that and made Harden the predictable player that he is today. If I could do a brief rundown of what I said in those videos to kind of give some context to what I'm going to say about James Harden, having a mid-range game is really important for opening up the rest of your offensive game. It makes you more of an overall threat. With James Harden, his defenders know he's either going to be taking a 3 or taking a layup. He's not going to take a mid-range shot, so no reason to play him like that's something that he might do. Kobe made a small tutorial type video a while ago that basically spelled out the importance of this. He says in game you shoot the jumper and your defender is ready for the jump shot. Now that he respects your jumper, take him inside and get a layup, and now that he knows you're going to take a jump shot but you can also drive to the rim, he'll try and play you for both, which is the perfect place to pull up from mid-range. 3-level scoring is important. Now the off-ball movement stuff I feel is more slept on in terms of importance. I've gone as far as to say in that off-ball video that a superstar not having an off-ball game can really kill your chances at a championship. If you're only a threat with the ball in your hands, that is a problem because it makes you way more predictable. Russell Westbrook also has this problem. I want to point out a wild stat with James Harden. Pre-Mike D'Antoni in Houston, 20% of Harden's 2-point shots were assisted and 53% of his 3-pointers were assisted. Since D'Antoni, just 10% of his 2s are assisted and only 22% of his 3s are assisted. And as for the last 2 seasons, putting up 36 plus, just 16% of his 3s are assisted. The guy's had fucking Russell Westbrook and Chris Paul on his teams the past few years, some of the best playmakers in the league. And yet the dude almost never shoots catch and shoot 3-pointers. That is horrible. A good off-ball game just simply makes you way harder to guard. You know why Steph Curry went from an all-star to an MVP? Steve Kerr treated Curry more like a shooter than he did a point guard. He recognized that to unlock Steph, he needed him to be more of an off-ball player, and that is how Steph got so damn deadly. Now, Mike D'Antoni very clearly views basketball analytically. The Houston Rockets might as well be renamed as the Houston Analytics. But I've gotta say, where in the analytics does it say that your star player dribbling for 90% of the possession is good? Where does it say that having a ridiculous usage rate is good for winning basketball? When you look at all of the players who are towards the top of the league in usage rate throughout history, you have to scroll real long before you find a championship team. The highest ranking all-time usage rate season for one player that resulted in a championship was Michael Jordan in 1993. He had a usage rate of 34.71, which was 32nd all time, meaning that 31 other players with higher usage rates could not win a championship. High usage rate is not good for winning. James Harden has been in the top 15 3 separate times, 2 times in the top 5 in the last 2 years, and once at number 13 in 2017 under D'Antoni. The way that James Harden has played ever since they have added Mike D'Antoni has definitely filled the box score, but I don't think it's actually made the guy better. It might have fooled people into thinking he's better, but he really isn't. If he got rid of D'Antoni's changes to James Harden's game, with him next to Chris Paul and having Clint Capella and some shooters and defenders like PJ Tucker, Harden would probably be a champion by now. But the guy is this weird Frankenstein's monster, and Mike D'Antoni is fucking Frankenstein, because the guy who made the monster is named Frankenstein, not the monster. It's why he's called Frankenstein's monster. Anyways, that is how Mike D'Antoni made James Harden unwatchable and killed his chances at a title, in my opinion. That's the end of this video. Please be sure to like and subscribe for more NBA content like this, and cue the outro music.